Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Bloomed Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 777. 777, like a Boeing 777 or 777. Why do I refer to Boeing 777? It's just a coincidence, but if you followed the previous blog posts and or episodes recorded, you know that I was trying to make sure that whatever I do with my recent pursuit of learning how to fly and do some videography and photography from a drone perspective, I wanted to make sure that I do it right. And because in 2020, the legislation within European Union was enforced, and over the last 4 years it's more and more stringent and more applied, more enforced, because we need to somehow control the airspace, and because drones became such a popular tool to use now, it's no longer viable for everyone to just freely use the drones, regardless of the size and operational purpose, and also risks associated with those operations. And there's plenty of risks. There's plenty of security measures that need to be taken under consideration, and even GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulation, might touch many drones, simply because most of the drones these days have cameras, and you might capture individuals that otherwise would not like to be captured, and their personal kind of stuff revealed, like faces in public or faces in their own, areas, private homes, etc. Obviously, most of us don't film people in their homes. That would be creepy. But yeah, there is a certain data protection and privacy element to even to drone operations, which needs to be considered. So I decided to go for cumbersome process of going through training and registering my interest or the account, and validating it on MySRS, which is a platform for Irish Aviation Authority. This authority is registering people, validating their identities. Then you can request a short training, apply for a simple exam of about 40 questions, and once you pass it, you can receive the proof of training, which is very important because many countries start looking into it and using that as means to allow people cross-border to travel with drones. It's not yet that stringent, but it might be in near future. And obviously, proof of training is one thing, and it's necessary to the final thing, the actual pilot registration. So I am officially now confirmed remote pilot that is registered with Irish Aviation Authority. I have my reg number that I will need to apply to any drone that I operate. That is not a toy, and below 250 grams. DJI Neo is below 250 grams, but it's not considered a toy. It's still a fully operational drone. It can operate in higher speed in sports mode, so it's already considered a consumer grade drone. albeit category 0, so there is very little restrictions in terms of that type of drones. But there is another drone on the way that I pulled the trigger on, so I bought the DJI Air 3S, which is a much more expensive and professional drone. So hopefully I will receive it within this coming week. And this one is, I believe, category 1 drone, or category 1 or 2. I believe still category 1, so it's still below 1 kilogram or below 900 grams, and can be operated within the open category that I'm licensed to. So it's fairly simple training and process, but it's very cumbersome and long, and you need to go through it. Then obviously, if I want to operate any more professional drones, heavier and more advanced, then there are separate licenses. There's A2 category, open category, then there's a certified and specialized license that requires physical training in person, also with Irish Aviation Authority approved training company. But yeah, I think I spoke too much about it, but the title and theme of today's post is the final step that I completed, and I am now officially registered remote pilot or unmanned aircraft operator within Ireland and EU. That is recognized across all EU member states, plus a couple of other countries that are not directly EU members, but they do have agreements with European Union for free trade and a couple of other things, including valid recognition of those registrations and licenses. So that was it, and now let's get quickly to Saturday's update, because it's already almost 8 minutes, so let me go through it very quickly, because there's not much, but there is one big point at the end. So the main thing is that we operated Sauna, our mobile sauna business, pretty much whole day long. We drove there with Elizabeth. We had a couple of bookings in the morning, solid bookings, and suddenly some walk-in started popping in, and it started getting busy. We were operating at the beach. It was a nice dry weather, and when it cooled down just before 1 p.m., we went to sauna ourselves, Elizabeth and myself, and we made about 3 rotations between the cold water dip and the sauna, and I was disrupted in the last session because there were a lot of queries from people walking by, and eventually we started getting another set or wave of walk-ins, so we got quite busy. We finished our session. We stayed until people finished, then wrapped up so I could drop Elizabeth back home. But as we were leaving the beach, another group of people asked if they can pop in. So we said, listen, we are now closed, but we'll be back in about 1 hour or so. So around, I believe it was 4:30 that we agreed to be here on the beach, well, on the ramp, because the tide was coming back. So I only dropped Elizabeth, picked Julian from home, replaced or refueled some water and other supplies, and we went straight back to Resnala, where that group was actually also waiting. We served them, and also it started getting busy again. So I must say that this day was sort of special for us from the business perspective. those of you that were listening or reading that October was terrible. It was very quiet. It picked up a little bit in this week, but not too much. We were hoping to get at least, I would say, a third of a good week overall. So it's a 21st week that we operate. So we were hoping to at least get. We know that we're outside of summer season or anything like that, but we were hoping to get at least, let's say, half of an average and above half an average month from the week from the season. And because of this Saturday, we actually not only are heading for a great week, but we just made a new record in terms of a day. So this is the record day in terms of revenue. And I'll tell you how ridiculous it sounds. Our record to date was also Saturday on 20th of July. So if you consider that we started roughly in June, but started really operating day to day at Rosnala 1st of July, the 20th of July, we peaked in terms of a particular day to be very busy and earning us decent revenue. And since then, we couldn't beat it. Not only beat it, but it was unreachable in terms of days. And we knew that, especially in the quiet period like October. But today, we beat it. And we've beaten it not much, but enough to say that it was and is number one now on the list. So you can imagine the summertime was very busy and we worked the same amount of hours this Saturday as we did, with a huge break in between in July because obviously the day was longer. Sorry, I'm really tired. So it's huge for us. It's a big kind of boost or kick that we are liking very much, and we still have Sunday to proceed, so it might be a very interesting end of week. I am ranking the weeks in terms of revenue, and we were in the fairly low kind of 15s most of the time. I'd say 15s, 14s, or 16s. Now this week is already 13, and it's very close to 12 and 11, but it's possible that we can reach number 10 or more, which would be massive. So keep fingers crossed, and let's see how it goes. My eyes are already closing. I still need to do meditation, so thank you very much for tuning in. I really love to see the views and that people are reading and watching. So thank you very much once again. Have a great rest of the day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Stay tuned and see you again tomorrow.